Some of the surveys that have been conducted in our community and throughout Canada are showing the majority of people, the high majority of people, want to age in place and they don't want to have to move again, especially those who are in wonderful communities where they've made lots of friends, they may have pets and family members close by, so they want to make their house work for them. They know where things are, it's a familiar environment, so we don't like to take people out of a familiar environment later in life and ask them to start from scratch. So this is a great way to preventatively work towards living in their community longer if that is the safest option for them. Right now, through the public healthcare system, usually people are not making changes to their home or adding support services unless there's been maybe a fall, an injury, and out of discharge planning. The hospital does a lot to get people home safely, but sometimes there's a gap there, and that's where we fit in to help people who maybe, we want to move it to the preventative end of the spectrum and start helping people prevent those hospitalizations, prevent falls. By preventing the first fall at home, often what we can do is prevent that hospitalization that may lead somebody to eventually go into a care facility like an assisted living facility. Yeah, right now what we see is people aren't assessed for their risk of falling until there's already been a fall, unless they're in the healthcare system. So what we're trying to do with Safe Living Manitoba is really switch to the preventative approach, where we look at what are the indicators of someone who may fall. And so what we know is somebody who's lost some mobility and is starting to have trouble with balance, or they may have some memory issues. And so we like to assess those things first before we look at what accessibility barriers they may have. So for those people who have requested the cognitive and physical screenings, what we do is we look at some simple functional assessments to check balance, mobility, and cognition, and see how those measures can impact somebody's risk of falling or being able to live independently in the long run. Okay. The residential assessment piece to Safe Living Manitoba really looks at what are the physical barriers in the home that are presenting barriers to access for the individual. So it may start right at the front door and see, do they have 4 stairs leading up to a door that's very heavy and difficult for them to open? We look at the stairs in their home. Do they have a bathroom on the main floor? What kind of setup is the kitchen, den, living room, and then we make our way into the bedrooms and bathrooms, or especially if there's another floor, a second story, or potentially the basement. And we can help people prioritize those tasks and make them easier to access. And sometimes it takes home modifications to do that. Sometimes the physical barriers in the home are not something that we can solve easily by adding a few banisters and things like that. So sometimes home modification is required. It might mean changing a den into a bedroom on the main floor. It might mean some simple modifications. But what we do for our clients is we connect them to resources in the community. So we have a list of professional home renovators who have the credentials, some of which have aging in place certification, and we draw upon these professionals and help coordinate the services. Also, home equipment or assistive device vendors, we provide them with a list of those, and we also provide them with a list of support service providers. Private home care, we let them know if they would be eligible for public home care. So we try and bridge that gap between what is provided publicly and what is provided privately. And we do not profit in any way or benefit from any way of engaging their services or connecting them with the clients. As we see it, we are a hub of resources and we want to provide our clients with information. So Safe Living Manitoba is a fee-for-service assessment and resource service provision. and we charge $350 for the 1 hour assessment, and you get a generated report that outlines all the risk factors, the environmental barriers, and also provides all those resources that pertain to maybe yard care, support, personal support in the home. It may also be the home renovation recommendations. So all of that you get out of that 1 hour visit. I guess what I want families to know is that you don't have to wait for somebody to get hurt, or you don't have to wait for somebody to lose their independence before assessing what their needs are and what their home needs are. And so Safe Living Manitoba can really help provide families with a peace of mind, especially if you have a child with a disability and you're wondering about what changes you may need to make to your home as they age, or if you've got an elderly parent and you're wondering about what changes or what support services they may need to age in place.